For quite a while, I have not seen the kind of euphoria I am seeing in the House today. In most of our debates, there are undertones, there are contradictions, there are counters, but today there is absolute unanimity in our debate. That shows that the House is resolved. That shows that we are united. That shows that to a very large extent we share the same opinion on contentious matters that are in the bill. And when Parliament is resolved on a matter, the resolve of Parliament must not be tested by any individual. It was Mahatma Gandhi who said, our ability to reach unity in diversity will be the beauty and test of our civilization. Mr. Speaker, you can testify to the fact that this debate today is shrouded with serenity instead of anxiety. It is shrouded with composure and calmness instead of agitation. It is shrouded with equanimity and ataraxia instead of disruption. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, this is just to tell you that we are members of Parliament from different sides of the aisle, and we are united and resolved on issues that affect our nation. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the honorable member from Mayamba who spoke before me expressed dissenting view on the 90% that is to go to NATCOM. I didn't prepare to talk on that, but because of his opinion, please permit me, Mr. Speaker, honorable member, as an expert in telecommunications, to throw small light on it. I forgive you, honorable member. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, NATCOM is to regulate MNOs as well as ISPs. But we have limited the operations of NATCOM to only the capital city. When we were on oversight function with the chairman and other committee members, we extemporaneously visited offices of NATCOM in the provinces. We were in Kenima, we were in Bo, and we were in some other places. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to put it to this house that the committee was not happy with the position in which those offices were found. The offices lacked vehicles. Some of the offices lacked air condition. Some of the offices lacked basic amenities. So I question myself that an institution that is generating so much for government cannot take care of itself. And as a parliament, it is our responsibility to ensure that we don't incapacitate or we don't kill those institutions that give life to the operations and the revenue generating ability of government. So to me, I think that NATCOM should retain 90% of their revenue. I say this because it is frustrating for you to have generated so much money and you cannot take care of your running operations, especially for your offices that are in the provinces. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I paid a friend a visit last week, and I was forced to use the only route around American Embassy. And I saw the office of NATCOM there on construction. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, that is one of the assets that NATCOM can point fingers to. If we don't give them 90%, we are strangulating the progress of that office. If we don't give them 90%, we are killing the viability of NATCOM, and even the revenue generating ability of NATCOM we will be killing. As a government, we should not be afraid to put money where we get money. But it will be amiss in our responsibility to invest where we don't get money. That is one of the fundamental reasons of bankruptcy. You invest where you don't get money. But Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I told you I wasn't too prepared to talk on NATCOM, but I spoke on NATCOM because of the opinion of my colleague. Well, let me go to where I want to talk to. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, at times Parliament is caricatured, or Parliament is trivialized, or Parliament is dismissed, or the effort of Parliament is annihilated when we make law and treat this law with disregard. Mr. Speaker, in 2006, this House endorsed the Telecommunications Act. And it didn't stop there. Even when we came as members of Parliament in 2019, there was a statutory instrument brought to this House relating to UADF. And this House endorsed the statutory instrument. Mr. Speaker, it will surprise you to note that the act this Parliament passed in 2006 and the statutory instrument this Parliament passed in 2019 is almost not important if this proposed bill is endorsed by this very House. Mr. Speaker, when people talk about the functions and responsibility of UADF, they mostly don't have insight into what UADF should do. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I have worked for a mobile company for a very long time. Why, honorable members, why you should respect me is that I have worked for a mobile company that has closed. So I know the reasons why mobile company closed. So I bought experience from what I underwent. So you should listen to me. In Makeni Menait, there are 3 towers there. 3 towers. And now they are having the 4th tower. And I will tell you why. Africell previously had 1, and they bought the tower that belonged to Comio. So meaning Africell has 2 towers at Menai. Quite apart from that, Airtel has 1 tower there. QCell came, they wanted to operate, and there were 2 towers. The one was empty and it was unused. So they wrote to Afrisel that they wanted to use their tower. Because of market competition, they were not given the tower. So they had to construct another tower. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 towers just at Menait. Just at Menait. And to construct one tower is very expensive. It takes a lot of resources. Now, what is the function of UADF relating to towers? UADF should construct one tower, and all the other MNOs collocate in this tower that is constructed by UADF. So you will save the company from the expenses of constructing a tower which costs thousands of dollars. They will invest it elsewhere. And even when companies collocate to themselves, there is always that level of suspicion. Because when my site goes off, I will think it is Airtel that I am collocating with. They are responsible because they don't want me to get customers in that very site. But when you have a neutral body, a credible body like UADF operating the towers, it saves resources a lot. And that is what Parliament saw, and they approved the statutory instrument that was brought to this House. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the MNOs and other service providers should pay 0.5% to UADF. But in this new bill, that payment is omitted. They are not going to pay again to UADF. Meaning the spirit behind having an institution whose primary responsibility is to ensure that they create that kind of serenity, especially in terms of co-location, that institution will be killed. The essence of that institution will be annihilated. That is why when we talk, we don't talk to benefit an individual. We talk on issues that benefit the nation. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, if in 2019 we brought a statutory instrument that empowers UADF, and in 2022 we are bringing a bill that kills that very statutory instrument, then I wonder why we are rigmaroling as a parliament. Who do we want to please? Individuals or the nation? It is about time that we look our fathers and mothers to their face and tell them that I will not do this for the benefit of this nation. This was what we did that we landed Salka where Salka is. I'm sure we should be resolved as a parliament to ensure that the mistakes of the past are no longer repeated as a house. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, UADF must remain as an established institution with the functions accorded to it by the statutory instrument that was brought to this House. And Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as they are killing one fund, they are creating another fund. The difference between the two, the one fund is controlled by UADF, and the other fund they are creating is not controlled by UADF. And that is the establishment of the digital fund. It undermines the essence of UADF. It undermines the essence of the statutory instrument that was brought here. It undermines the essence of the 2006 Act that was approved by this Parliament. If we are against, how why should we create so many funds within just a single ministry? Why? Why should we? Is the business viable? What are we doing with those funds, Mr. Speaker? I am saying this because Parliament has exhumed high sense of unanimity. When you listen to honourable members on the other side of the aisle and honourable members on this side of the aisle, we all say the same things. Because we believe we subscribed the oath of Parliament before we took our seats. So when we are saying this, I'm sure we are doing it from the sense that we should be committed to our nation and not to individuals. Of course, Mr. Speaker, honourable members, I cannot belabor on the point noted by my senior colleague, Honourable Aimara, relating to the powers and functions of the minister. We have expressed dissenting view on that, and we have said that we should not in any way that capacitate the minister. Because when he leaves the office, there is high tendency that whosoever will succeed will misuse those powers, and Parliament will be held responsible for capacitating an individual. Mr. Speaker, honourable members, we want everybody to note that as a committee, because I'm part of the Information and Communication Committee, we are not just debating because we have the opportunity to debate. We are debating based on surveys that we've done to all provincial offices. We are debating on reports that we've had from UADF. We are debating on reports that we've had from the ministry itself. So we are debating from an informed position. So on that note, I want to advise that firstly, Parliament retains the 90% of revenue, NATCOM retains their 90% of their revenue, that UADF is empowered and not annihilated, that no digital fund is created again to duplicate the functions of UADF, and finally, that we members of Parliament will live and tell the stories that all mobile companies are operating on a single tower because of this Parliament. I thank you.
Honourable Sandy.
Mr. Speaker, honourable members.
Mr. Speaker, you want to have a bite?
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Okay, the leader will have a bite after Mr. Sandy. Honourable Sandy.
Mr. Speaker, honourable members, I want to thank the Minister and team for putting together this beautiful literature. Mr. Speaker, honourable members, I see this bill as a legal framework that will revolutionize and schematize the ICT sector. And the intent of the bill I see, to me, will facilitate an engine for socio-economic growth in this nation. But to realize that, Mr. Speaker, honourable members, we really need to put sincere efforts together to come out with an instrument that will stand the test of time. With this at the back of my mind, I took the pain to do some research, and I downloaded the Ghana Telecommunication Act of 2008, the Kenyan Act of 2011, the South African Act of 2005 and 15, the amended